Hello everybody, my name is Ungar and welcome back to Empires of the Undergrowth. Let me just make sure we are live, and once I have confirmed that, we will begin. Yep, okay, there we go. Pulled it up on my phone so I can also watch live chat. And anyways, so yes, today we are playing 2.1 on Insane with challenge mode activated, so let's just jump right into, obviously, our YouTube colony. And we will begin. So, this is the third attempt of doing this, as the last two attempts have been failed attempts. As first time, OBS just wouldn't connect, and second time, miraculously, we somehow lost. So now I've made a very, very good strategy that has never caused a defeat for me. So, if you guys want to beat the level, you could follow what I do, as it's not that hard to follow. I'm not like a really good ICS level player, but the level is insanely easy if you follow this strategy. But anyway, let's jump right into it. So if we go up here, we can do 2.1 Rising Tide Insane with challenge mode activated. So let's just go. We are going to choose Rapid Fire, as the spiders are a little too quick for the mortars. And immediately, once you get in here, we're just going to start harvesting the black ant queen, which is dead on the ground next to our queen, right here. So we can just have our workers go right here and just start feasting on her. And we're just going to buy a lot of workers early game. We're going to try and get a full 19 of workers, if possible. And I'm pretty sure that the food isn't randomized, so you should be able to get a full 19 every time. You just want to have a few constantly eating while the rest just start building out this chamber.
Unfortunately for this colony, the Queen's choice of home could not have been worse. This stretch of beach is peppered with burrowed tiger beetle larvae. They lie, jaws primed, with only their armored heads visible from the sand. Anything that stumbles into their pit is speared and dragged below.
Okay, so as the narrator said right there, our challenge mode creatures, instead of being the little, what are they called, mole crickets I think it was, in tier 1, we have to deal with tiger beetle larvae, which are sort of like little creatures that burrow beneath the sand and sort of just wait under it. I don't think any spawn on the first day. Nope, here are some. So here are what we're looking for, tiger beetle larvae. Very scary creatures. No, come on. So what you want to do, collect all the free food as quickly as possible. Have the workers in the nest prepare some chambers. And we are just going to want to build out this little food store here and get a full 19 of worker ants, if possible. And then once you've done that, we're going to start moving downwards. And we also just want to buy a little bit more, get a few upgrades there. Turn attack off, as workers literally can't fight anything on insane difficulty. So they're just going to be our harvesters and nothing else, and our egg layers or egg carriers and stuff. So then you want to come down here and just start harvesting over here. And you want to be careful. You want to time it right when you get to this lower area to avoid the tiger beetles, as they will make quick work of your ants and absolutely destroy them if you're not careful. So right now would have been a good time to go, as they're all down here, but as we can see, none of our ants are up here. And you want to buy a few wood ants, the shooters, and then station them right at this ramp here, because there are a few of these guys that come after you, which is kind of annoying, and your workers can absolutely not deal with them. It's a total waste to even attempt it. So you just want to go down here, ignore the beetles, and snag some food. I think one's coming, so yes, we want to pull back. That is really scary right there. And then charge in, grab the food quickly, get out, and just start moving over here. So by this point, you should have a few spitters, and they should be able to rinse through the few units that are up here. And yeah, you just want to keep them down here. You do not want to risk them going down here, because these guys will cut them apart if you don't have a large enough force. Which, 2 ants is definitely not a large enough force. But we can keep our guys collecting and just run right past most of them. And then we also want to keep upgrading our food stores and buying more of these. You want to get around 5 or 6 of these by the time that both of these food sources have been completely depleted. You can also move these guys slightly lower down, probably like to around here at the base of this rock. And speed is key here. You want to be doing as many things as you can at once. So taking out units, oh, he died. Oh no, he's alive. But we need to be careful with him. Or technically her, but doesn't really matter. Anyway, we go up here. A few of our ants do indeed get wrecked by these guys. But this 5 is absolutely not worth it. As you can see, there's so many at this point that they're just starting to group up and kill us. So what we want to do is actually pull all our ants to this corner. And this may seem odd at first, but what you then want to do is come down here. And since, as you can see, we've bought no melee units yet, you want to use your queen as a meat shield to beat these guys. Oh, I did not turn that off. Okay, so you want your workers to totally ignore them, and then you just want to have your wood ant shooters use the queen as a meat shield to absolutely rinse these larvae. And then once the larvae are gone, or almost gone, you can just send the ants down to collect the food, and have your guys immediately start digging up here. So some of this is RNG, like those tiger beetles were so grouped up, sometimes they'll come one at a time, and even one of them is too much to deal with. So sometimes you're going to want to restart. Right now is probably the best run I've ever had, so I'd like to keep it this way. By the time that this tide is out, this wave should have been released and should be heading towards your queen, where you will again repeat the same exact strategy of using your queen as a meat shield, because if you did this part correctly, your queen shouldn't have lost more than 75% of her health. Then you can have your guys come up here and break this open when these two hatch, and you should have enough food to replace ants if stuff starts to go bad. But you can have every single one of your workers cower up in this corner. Make sure that none of these guys are close to the queen, because the spray is enough to one-shot the spitters. And as you can see here, we sort of just wreck them. Look at that. Queen will drop a lot of HP, but don't worry. Your ants will be able to kill these guys before they manage to kill the queen. And there they go. So now you can just come up here, start feasting. And what you want to do is sort of prepare some of these things. You don't want to go fully up or down, but you just want to get these ready so that your ants can quickly dig this open. But you just want to start collecting up here and waiting, because we're not going to go outside, and there's a long way back and forth to bring the food, so you just need to wait until all the food's gathered. Once the food is all gathered, you should have about 15 soldiers, range soldiers. You can also start increasing the size of some of these chambers, as we're going to need a lot of workers. You can just prepare some more chambers. This will be our soldier group down here that you can prepare, and we're also going to make this group larger. So you can get all your units preparing, pull these guys back, and finally open up this, just to be as efficient as possible. You don't want to let anything else get near your queen, or she will die. So you want to be careful of that. But we can probably open this group up, and by that time, once we've cleared this group, it should be nighttime, which means the hermit crabs will start coming for us. And if there's anything wrong with the stream, if you guys can't hear me or the video is a little odd, just tell me in chat and I'll try and fix it. But I believe we are going well based on what I can see. And yeah, we just want to open this up And these guys should be on the way down to your queen by the time the tide is fully up. And like I said, your queen cannot take another hit, so you want to just send all your ants. Just have the workers run past as a distraction of sorts, because they still can't fight. So you just want to waste these guys' time and sort of provide a little bit of a meat shield while the spitters absolutely rinse the big boys, because they do insane damage. But yeah, that is how it's going so far. By the end of the night, we should have like tripled in size, as most of these chambers will be devoured, because the hermit crab waves are not that hard on the first night if you collect a lot of food and such. But yep, here comes the lines explaining the hermit crabs.
These creatures are typically scavengers, searching for algae and carrion on the beach. But due to the unusual incursion of Formica rufa colonies into this area, this particular community of crabs has developed a taste for ant flesh.
So yeah, we've learned that the crabs love ant flesh for some reason, even though they're not supposed to be eating it. But yeah, now they want to kill us. So throughout the night, oh, here comes the first wave. So what you want to do is just run at them. You want to turn attack on for the workers, because they don't really do enough damage to really pose a threat to anything whatsoever. At least in these numbers. Later on we'll have a bit of trouble with a large hermit crab wave. But we can have a small group maintain the nest, while we have most of our guys eat the food and prepare to open up this, and then we'll open up this. So now you can see these guys are coming for us, and we want to let them get a little closer before attacking. Let this guy get ahead so that we can hopefully focus him down, and then just charge him now. We can also probably open this up. You can really open up a lot of chambers, as the hermit crab waves are far and few on this first night, but you do want to keep a lot of food stored and just prepare. But you can see here we have absolutely rinsed these guys, and now we're cleaning up this chamber quite easily. As you can see, we haven't upgraded any of our ants, we're just getting sheer numbers. This is for the next day, which will be quite scary. You can see some more crabs coming along with some more Devil's Coach Horse. These guys are actually more of a threat, so we're going to come back and try and deal with them if possible. But you can see here come the crabs, and once this group is gone, which shouldn't take that long, because at this point the Devil's Coach Horse beetles in your nest don't stand much of a chance against the swarm of ranged units. You should be able to easily clean them up and then continue down onto the crabs. You could probably send your workers up there just to eat that up, and then we want to go 1, 2, and once we get some more food, 3, 4. You should have about 30 of these guys ready for the final crab wave, which should be coming soon, but I'm not sure. I believe we have time to open up one final thing here, and we can harvest this in a bit. Let these guys come on down, and then charge them. I would love to have more ants, but that doesn't seem like we're going to be able to get many, as this final wave will be quite challenging, so we want to make sure that we are ready for it. Although it will not be that hard. Definitely, if it catches you off guard, I think, what is this, 7 crabs that enter your nest could put a real frown on your face. But you want to start buying some of the melee units by the time these guys are here. And then you also just want to move up here and just finish harvesting off all of this stuff. You can send another group down here. We might actually want to keep a few ants on the crabs, because they are getting a little bit close, but as I said, they don't do much damage, so you don't need that much of a front line on them. And then I think now we're at the point that we can send everyone on their food gathering duties without posing much of a problem to our colony. Although this one crab seems to have gotten past our lines and is wrecking us. And we're starving. Well, this better not go like it did last time. I hope I do not lose, but as you can see, most of the crabs at this point, there's only like 3 left. There's not much they can do against us. And there they go. So now there's only 3 waves, so once we've gone through all 3 waves, you just want to start eating as much as you can. You want to just devour everything you can in your nest before the next day begins. Because once the next day begins, you need to be out there immediately. So let's hope that we have enough time to collect a large quantity of food, or we could be in a very bad situation. You also want to get this group up by now. And we can see that it's almost daytime, which you can see by these little flicks popping up. And now, once you've gotten through this, you want to head up. You could take this down, but that would not be the best move, I'd say. You just want to continue moving outwards. Because a fish appears this day, and we need to get onto that fish. So just send everyone straight down, ignore everything, send this small group up here, and just prepare. Send these guys here, these guys here, these guys here. You just want to go. We should be able to get a good amount of food from this sardine. You don't need to get all of it, but you would want to get as much as you can. I haven't been fast enough to get all of it. I don't know how some of the speedrunners do it, as there just seems to be way too many for me, but they indeed do manage it. And you can see here what these 2 groups will serve our purpose for. They will be defenders of the larva, some up here and some down here. And then you want to turn food gathering off on your range until all the tiger beetles are dead. And then once they're dead, you want to turn their food gathering on as well, so that they can just start ripping through the fish. And there we go. Now, you just want to sit here as much as you can. Make sure that you're doing very well. And we are starving a little, so I might send this group over here just to get a quick little snippet of food, as we kind of do need it. Because we are starving. Ants will immediately, as you can see, there's a group that's harvesting. They will come for this fish. So by the time this group over here is almost eaten, you want to skedaddle out of there, or you will be overwhelmed. I'm telling you guys right now, they are way too strong for you to beat no matter what. Even the strongest speedrunners fear these guys on this day. You do not have enough to beat them. Once they get there, cut your losses, retreat, turn attack off, and try and bring home as much food as you can. You can see here we've cleared through most of the tiger beetles down here. That's why we don't have another group defending over here, as there's not many over here, and they're quite easy to defeat. But you can see here we are just chomping through the enemy. We would love to have a few more workers, as workers are very nice. Yeah, they're all level 3, which is scary. Most of them use mortars as well, which means they've got area attack, which is scary. So we just want to hold here and wait for food. Yeah, most of this level boils down to waiting for food to come in and hoping you don't die, which I'm honestly hoping at this point. There's so much RNG involved here. Depends on like how fast these guys go and where exactly the larvae spawn, what the route of the tiger beetles are, and exactly how quick and in what order the attacks arrive. Well, the attacks arrive in the same order, but the order of enemies. If larger enemies enter first, you should be able to focus them down and win a lot easier. That's what we're hoping for. You can see we're just absolutely eating through this fish. You want to ignore everything around it. You will eat 15 food from each harvest point. None of these are worth 15 food. I mean, none of them. So you just want to go for the fish. Fish is the only food source you want to go for until the ants attack it. But yeah, you can see we are gaining much food, so we want to buy some more workers to try and go in there and devour as much as they can, because these guys are getting pretty close. You want to get this down to around 400-ish, if possible. 400 is the survivable number, I'd say. There's a lot of beetle larvae around. You want to get this group up and ready. And we're at 500 food. These guys are getting pretty close though, but we're doing insanely well. Just keep on harvesting, ignore everything. Buy a few more of these. Yikes. At this point, these guys are getting really close. So I think we are going to want to pull back, as they do a lot of damage to us. So everyone pull back. Enable food gathering, turn off attacking, and just run, because yep, here they come. Just as I say it, they arrive, and we got a little over 400 food left, so we should be perfectly fine to survive the upcoming days. And yeah, there we go. So once we've done that, come down here and attack this. You don't want to upgrade anything at all until all ants have been placed, because you want to collect as much food as possible. The higher number of ants, the more food you can collect at once, which means the less time you spend waiting for ants to come back and forth to collect food, which you really need to beat this level. You need to collect food quickly and overwhelm your enemy, because these beetles are scary. Tiger beetles and their larvae scare me very much. But as you can see here, this first wave has been cleared. Then you kind of want to just go down here, set these guys back up here, because once you've cleared this first wave, there's no real purpose going down any further. You can have a few ants devour this, and then what you really want to do is just come up here. Those guys sadly end up dying. Turn off food gathering on these so that they can fight the ants that are here, and turn off fighting on the workers. The tide should be coming in soon, which yes it is. And now, by the time the tide starts coming in on the second day, you should have every single ant that you're ever going to build built. And now it's just all about upgrades. We want to get a large amount of upgrades very quickly. So send everyone up here, turn on their food gathering. Once most of these guys die, turn off the attack and just run past them. You can see there's just so many larvae. They're not worth fighting. You want to run away from the larvae. And run away from the mortars. You should also be able to assassinate most of the wood ants. They shouldn't pose much of a problem at this point. Should be able to overwhelm them quite easily. And during the night, we will also be eating lots of stuff underground. Turn off attack, turn on food gathering, just collect anything you can and run away from the tiger beetles, because they could be fun if there were a small amount of them, but there's just so many that you can't beat them, and I find they are very annoying, so we just want to run away from them. Turn on attack now, and we're going to start clearing this, which is a black ant nest. You can also have a group come down and eat any food that wasn't eaten during the night. And you just want to go. You just want to go for as much food as you can before the spider waves start to arrive, as you need a lot of food to beat them, because they're really annoying. You also want to start building your trap, which I'll explain once I get mine built. These traps sort of confuse the spiders, I guess you could say. The way that the spider code works is they'll go to a chamber for 20 to 40 seconds before attacking the queen, unlike most enemies. So in this time, they'll just wander around chambers, even if it's a chamber of 1, food store, or fast movement chambers, the speed tiles, that are both 5 food to place, they'll still go there and get distracted, so you can sort of build traps to trap most of them and take them off one by one while they, you know, confuse themselves and spread themselves thin, most getting stuck in the traps, but the few that actually go towards these chambers, you want to absolutely annihilate. You also want to open this up a lot. You want to open up most of your chambers because, yeah, that is a very important thing. And we can turn our attack off and just continue on here. You want to build a decent sized trap. It doesn't need to be that big. It depends on how many spiders you think you can handle at once. The bigger the trap, the more likely spiders are to get stuck and not be able to attack you. Well, at the same time. So if you're not feeling confident in your army, you probably want to build a bigger trap. But if you think your army is quite big, you probably want to save some of that extra food to make it even bigger.
In the day, these spiders retreats to the shade provided by larger plants on the edge of the beach. But once the sun has gone, they are far more active and on the hunt for a midnight feast.
Okay, so you can see there the narrator just talked about the spider, the sand bear wolf spider, which is quite a scary foe that will probably be coming for us very, very soon. So we need to make sure that we're ready. The black ant nest should be totally cleared by the time the first wave arrives, and we should be able to win this pretty easily. Once this night passes, it's pretty much an easy W. So you need to make sure that you're doing this right. And here come the spiders, just as we're about done with this. You can see most of them are getting stuck here, and since most of our ants are already here, we are just able to cut the spider wave down with ease. Can pull most of our ants back, as the whole spider wave has been assassinated and murdered now, and we can just wait. You do want to save up a good amount of food because they are pretty scary. If their AI wants to, I mean, there's always a chance that they totally ignore your trap because it's random chance on what chamber they choose. So it's very different every time you play what the spiders will do. Of course, if you don't want them to even come and run around your ants, if you fight them on the surface, they won't do this and they'll just act like normal enemies. But I would not recommend fighting them on the surface because then you have to fight all of them at once, even though they aren't going behind your lines and wrecking havoc to your nest workers. Fighting them all at once is much worse, though, I think. So the trap is how I do it. You also want to prepare to open up this final chamber. Once this group of spiders comes down, then we want to fight these guys. Trying to read chat as much as I can, but this level is quite stressful. We just take a peek while we wait for the next wave to attack. You got this, Ungar. Yes, thank you guys very much. I hope I've got this. I've practiced a lot, and these guys still scare me a lot, though. You can see here 3 of them totally ignore the trap. So the chance of them ignoring the trap is not 0, as you... the chance... I don't even know what I'm saying. Let me restart that sentence. The chance of them totally ignoring the trap is not 0. And here they come. There's one left. We should be able to fight it off quite easily. And then we want to also open this up while we're fighting the last spider. Hold here and win. Well, win this night. The next day is also pretty easy, as by that point we're able to take on the wood ants quite easily, and we can just rummage through their lines and steal all the little morsels that get washed up near their nest. Although right now it seems like their nest is underwater, so I'm not sure how they survive. It must go up after this point. But this wave is pretty hard, or this group of enemies. This is a large swarm of Devil's Coach Horse beetles, which is really scary because they're all adults. You want to pull back all your units except for the workers, because the spider wave is fast and furious. They will arrive. The second they spawn here, they're just going to be right in your nest. You won't have much time to react, so you want to make sure that you're prepared for that. So keeping a lot of ants closer to the queen is essential for survival. We can also start upgrading a few of our wood ant melee soldiers. Okay, here they come. You want to stop upgrading the second they get here and start fighting. You can see this time every single one of them went to the trap, which is quite odd as there's even more this time. So I thought we would have at least a couple stop by our chambers, but here they come. They will also move around chambers in this time, so they can group up, as you can see here, and can be quite devastating if they aren't countered properly. But at this point we've killed like over 50% of the final wave here, and they will soon, die. But, we don't want to get too overconfident. They're still alive and they can still kill us. So we want to make sure that we're saving some amount of food. But there we go, that's that wave done. And this spider is being quite dumb waiting outside here all alone, as we are going to come pick it off as a nice snack. Okay, here we go. Fighting this guy, quite easy, as you can see here. He just gets wrecked, and I think he offers like 50 food. Yep, 56. So there is even more food for us, and even less spider for the enemy. But we do indeed want to save up a little bit of food. So that little bit of food... Oh, it looks like another spider also came by. Could probably assassinate this hermit crab. Because now that we've cleared out every single wave here, there's not much to do at night, except for run around and attack enemies on the surface, which the devs tried to stop by introducing these giant hermit crabs, but they don't really come close to your nest. So if there's enemies that come close to your nest, you can easily pick them off. But evident by these things popping up here, daytime is about to arrive, so we must rally our forces here and prepare to fight. We're going to go right for the wood ants this time, as there's so much food on their side. We want to cover both this second and first wood ant sort of areas, both of these two, and then the first tiger beetle area. And that is what we want to accomplish today. Have all of that completely devastated by the end of the night. So we can immediately send everyone over here. Oh, here comes a crab, which we can easily fend off. Set another group up here. And prepare our ants to come down and wreck. The tiger beetle larva should be spawning soon. We can have this group come stop these guys and have our wood ant soldier classes come fight these guys up here to defend our little ants. But we could probably turn on food gathering and charge up here, as there's a lot of us. And look at that, all this food, delicious, delicious food, which is very much needed by our soldiers, because that is what makes them stronger. That's how you buy and upgrade things in the game, is food. It's the only resource and the best resource. Don't know why our group 1 is over here, but I also don't know why they don't have food gathering on. Turn that on. Have them come up here. Have them run past everything like normal, as they cannot fight, and just have them try and eat all this up. I think we're going to try to retreat now, as there's not much food there anymore. So we just want to move over this way. Turn off, attack. I think we have pretty much lost most of the ants over here though. But there are more enemies to fight, and those come in the form of the most annoying creatures in the game. Another 100 tiger beetle larvae. Oh, here comes, I assume, their parents, the adult tiger beetles, to come protect them. But we killed it. Well, send our boys down here. Let's go get them. And you also want to just upgrade a lot. You should have the middle 19 of this group upgraded to level 3, and the outside group upgraded to level 2 by the end of the day, and all of these guys upgraded to level 2 with the middle to level 3. You can see here we just shred a lot of enemy very quickly. That is the power of the rapid fire, shredding enemies easily. But mortars can do the same, they're just more effective against ants, which are the main enemy of the next mission we're going to try to do on Insane with Challenge Mode, which I know is a lot easier and has probably the simplest strategy in the game, but I'll get to that when we do that. I'll probably do another stream for that one, as the levels are very long in the Wood Ant missions. I like doing larger levels on stream because I've got you guys to talk to, even though this stream, not very talkative, but I cannot speak today, I guess. Anyway, we want food. That is what we want. That's the only thing we want. We want food, we do not want enemies. So if the enemies would kindly leave us alone, that would be highly appreciated. But you can see here, we're pretty much done upgrading these chambers for the most part. And then any extra food can just be spent on Wood Ant ranged units. But since this is mostly done, we want to head down here next. So, I think it's about time that we assemble the groups up here and prepare to fight. But yeah, these guys, there's not much we can do against these few ants. It would be nice to kill some of the larvae, but it's just not worth our time. They're at like 1 health though, which mildly infuriates me, but you know, not much we can do there. If we have time, we'll probably come back and finish off those guys. But you can see here, now we have fully achieved the maximum amount of stuff needed to begin the second night. But we still have daytime left, much daytime left, as the tide hasn't even begun to come in. So we can continue fighting and looking for more food. This bottom level, you want to like totally ignore the whole game. There's really nothing down here that you'd ever want. There's just so many larvae. But these upper levels, look at all this. You can see that most of our ants are just fighting for the time being. And once most of the enemies have been fought off, you just want to start collecting food. You just want to start eating up everything that you see. And you want to save up a good amount of food, because as you can see, there's not much coming in for a while now. But this group down here bringing in all this food will give us a huge boost, which will ensure our survival of the next night. But you can see here the remains of the wood ants are trying to fight us, but you know, they aren't doing so well. As we just shred through their units. Their units are pretty strong though, so yeah, they did end up taking out those few, but that's probably because the tiger beetle larvae don't fight them for some reason. Oh, here comes the tide. We still have a bit of time left to gather food quickly, but the second that this says this timer starts again, we're gonna cut our losses, turn off attack, and retreat. But it looks like that time is now anyway. Turn off attack and retreat to here, as these guys are no longer worth our time. We can probably go in and take this food, and these guys are at like 0 health right now. But these two are sadly going to be lost. Turn on attack for every single group here and have them charge these guys. Hopefully they're dumb enough to think that they can attack some of our ants, and hopefully we can, yes, we should be able to kill that one easily. Yep, there he goes. And this one, hopefully we can lure into attacking one of our ants. You can see he's on very low HP. Yep, here he comes. And then we can go in and assassinate him. You want to save up the rest of your food for now, as we do need some for respawns, because the next waves of the night will be quite devastating. So we want to turn attack off for most of our ants and just have them run away from the enemy.
Been caught by tiger beetle larvae, lying.
Please run away, because you will die. We lost a few, but there's nothing we can really do about that. You will lose many, many ants to the stray wood ants and the tiger beetle larva throughout this. But we are chilling now. There is nothing else you want to do for now. You just want to stay inside. You want to keep, around exactly 100 food stored up. We've got our trap built out. We've got everything we need. So now we just need to wait to survive this night. And by this point, our queen should be fully healed. So even if the ants get, not the ants, the enemies get slightly close to our queen, she can tank off a few hits before we're able to eventually arrive and assassinate her attackers. But let's continue on here. And by continue on, I mean wait, because there's nothing to do right now. Yeah, they should really maybe add some more stuff to do, like maybe something that could be cool, having an aphid plant down here that you could try and defend for some more food, because right now there's nothing to do. But I guess I could tell you guys some stuff that's been going on while we wait. I think I'll talk about stuff relating to my game that I'm making, Entity Infestation, which should be releasing on Steam pretty soon. A lot has happened. The AI for the enemy is pretty much totally working now. I've done a lot of smaller fixes, bug fixes, texture changes, importing sound. Right now, I can pretty confidently say that before Christmas of this year, the game will be released to Steam. Along with that, I'm working on a Discord you guys should be able to join pretty soon, which will, you should be able to report bugs and things. That will probably release on the same date as Entity Infestation. The Discord will be open along with the game. And yeah, now it is nighttime. Well, almost. All of this area has been completely flooded, and now we just need to wait for the enemies to start arriving. There's not much to do right now. I would want to come and attack one of these, but there's just so many larvae in the way. Oh, here come the spiders already. We want to turn off attack, or eating. Turn on eating for these guys. And we just want to stay around our queen, because at this point there's so many spiders that we can't really go that far outside our nest, or outside our queen area. You don't want to go beyond here. If you go into the trap, you will pretty much be killed, as there's so many spiders in there. But you can see here we are ripping them apart quite easily. They are not doing well. They're almost dead, all of them. But you never know. We are getting a little bit low on food, but here comes some more workers bringing in some fresh food for us. Could probably turn food gathering on at this point, as there's not many spiders. And what we want to do now is collect as much food as you can before the hermit crab wave arrives, as that will be our downfall if we cannot prepare ourselves. We want to get all of this pretty much totally upgraded. Oops, these are not level 2. And then you want to save around a few hundred food, which we haven't done, but we should be able to survive with this much. 210. We've got plenty of ants ready, and if need be, we can always start deleting chambers, but we want to prepare all our ants up here. And here they come, I think. Look at this. This is like 20 crabs, I believe. What's my favorite ant? My favorite ant, if you mean in-game, or in real life. In-game, it's probably the big-headed ants, but in real life, it's probably the leafcutter ants. Even though both species are in real life and in the game, I just think that the leafcutters don't look as appealing as they do in real life to me. I think the real life versions look a lot better, and the big heads look very nice in game. But let's destroy these guys. As you can see, that's why we need a lot of food, as they have a lot of HP. They don't do much damage, but in large numbers that damage can stack up. You can see here we are killing most of them quite easily, and we should be able to pull off a victory here as long as we keep focusing down most of their ants. Our deaths are dropping, but now we're starving. Not to worry though, as I think this is all they've got, and they're just dropping like flies. We need to be on this food ASAP, and we do not want to buy a single another thing, or we will probably lose to the spider wave, which is the final wave of the mission, and then we will win. But as you can see, lots of respawns coming in here, and we are pretty much just on the path to victory. We want to save up most of this food. Here they come. They're the two mother spiders. We want them dead as soon as possible. But you can see most of the little babies are pretty much already on half health because they're pretty weak. This is what you want. A mother spider alone without many of the babies coming towards your nest. Here comes the second one. If we can kill both the mother spiders, then it's a win. These guys need to die though, because they do insane damage, and will, if they latch onto your queen, she's pretty much dead. So now that she's, oh, there they go. That is how you win the level. You can just pretty much let your guys deal with all the little babies that come in, and you can actually just keep upgrading now. Pretty much just want to ignore the little ones. They don't pose any threat whatsoever. And that is how you win Rising Tide 2.1 on Insane with challenge mode. And that is the video. So now we just wait for the victory screen to play, and we win. Yeah. Honestly, that was pretty nice. We got good luck there with the beginning few days with the AI of the tiger beetles. Chose to stick in groups instead of spreading themselves out, which allowed us to collect a lot of food. If you can see that your runs are going bad, if you just like go out to the surface and the tiger beetles are all separate on like the first day, it's probably just worth it to restart the level, because that can cause much problems if you don't reach the amount of ants that you need to by certain nights. Let's go. Victory. And that's how you do it. Yeah, there's not much to do now. We've cleared everything. You can see that some of the stuff is starting to spawn. Tiger beetles are out, even though we can't really use any of this because the level's over. But we can just look at our glorious queen and her army of workers surrounded by hundreds of dead babies, baby spiders all over the place. There's even some food that's not collected, but I don't really care anymore because there we go. The victory screen.
The local predators pose less and less of a danger. Eventually they will be displaced from this area entirely. Despite the dangers of the beach, it seems this intrepid queen's gamble to establish her colony here has ultimately secured her success.
And there you have it. Victory for Formica rufa. We're going to choose more royal jelly, as royal jelly is quite a nice treat. And the level's around 47 minutes. Look at all this food, territory, royal jelly. We are rich now. So next time we'll do the second mission, 2.2. But that's it for the video. So I hope you all did enjoy. If you did, please remember to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye!